We have three incredible guests, three very different backgrounds and probably points of view. So I'm excited to kind of hear how all three of them approach scaling a listings-based business. We have Scottie, MacWhinnie, Cheryl, Clegg, and Clare Foreman. Clare, you want to start off and introduce yourself?
Oh, certainly. Hi, everybody. I'm Clare Foreman. Hi, Terry. I've been with the Young Team for coming up on 10 years. I started as a transaction coordinator. I've had my hand involved in plenty of other roles as our business and team have grown. And then I stepped into our Director of Operations role in 2020, I believe.
And so you're like fully responsible for managing 500-ish closings a year, plus a few hundred listings coming to the market, give or take?
Yeah, you could look at it that way.
I do look at it that way. Cheryl, what about for yourself? Will you introduce yourself to everybody?
My name is Cheryl Clegg, and I got my license in 2004. So I've seen a lot, been through a lot. Market was great right when I got it, and then it fell and it cracked. And then it's, gradually built itself back up. And 10 years ago, I left my part-time job as an agent running my own business, and I took a full-time job as a solo agent support. And I ran the listing side for a big agent in this area for about 4 years, and I loved it.
Are you allowed to say who the agent was?
Yeah, I mean, he's like the number one agent in this. Yeah, I mean, can't I?
Yeah, you can. I mean, from my perspective, I think you can and you should, but I don't know if you've got...
For Adam Kaufman, who's a big solo agent and who runs a tight operation. And the thing that I learned with my 4 years, my college education with Adam, I just loved the frenetic pace and the amount of volume and business he managed to do with a very tight support team. And so when I left, I wanted to replicate that. And so Karen Eagle is who I work for now. And we've got two lead agents, Karen and Kelsey, who's in the back right now supporting. And then Maddie's on our team, and Maddie and I do all the back office. So we do all the support, and they, So, and I wanted to scale, and so we've done that. Past 4 years, we've managed to almost triple our volume without adding anybody.
That's why we bring my mom. You can hear like the ooze back there. She's like,
She's my favorite.
Scottie, what about for yourself? A little bit of a different background.
Yeah, for me, you're going to get the agent perspective, growing my own business. And, over the years, so I got licensed in 2014, joined up with the Young Team back in 2018 for a short stint before moving out to Arizona. We were out there for about 4.5 years, came back and joined back in 2022 as a consultant, and just moved over in 25 to listing partner. Have doubled the business and continue to try and maintain that moving forward and continue to scale.
And give everybody like a little context. Double the business, like last year, this year. How many listings are you looking to sell?
Over 50. In 24, I believe I was around 28, and 25 was about 52. So now on pace for beating that. Gonna just keep leveling up.
Love it.
That's awesome.
And I think one other thing that's important to point out and kind of talking about like scale and like the systems behind it. Claire, 3 children under the age of 5?
5, yeah.
And Scottie, 2 children under the age of
5.
Yeah, the way you said that makes me think that's not the accurate answer, but you're like, you just go with it. And Cheryl, we won't ask you how old your children are.
One of them's right there. She works with us. So.
But I think what's important in of like approaching this from an ability to grow a large business, it is if you are organized, if you are disciplined, if you approach it from a scalable perspective, it gives you the balance to still have family life and other priorities in your life. So just kind of wanted to point that out. Scottie, let's start with you. What is the biggest misconception agents have about building a listing-based business?
For me, just from personal experience, coming over from a real estate consultant working with primarily buyers, I had the expectation of, hey, gonna kind of hit the ground running, and that it would be just as kind of quick and easy as things have been, and it was definitely not. It's more of a marathon with listings, and so I would say that was probably something that was a big learning curve for me.
Cool. Cheryl, what about from your perspective?
Yeah, with my experience, I would have to say that I think one of the biggest misconceptions is that anyone can do it and that it can happen quickly. And I think both of those things could be true, but are probably not true. So it's such hard work, and I would like to say, like, our profession is sales and our practice is real estate. And I think people get into it thinking that the sales is not number one, first and foremost, and actually it really is. So.
Love it. Claire, you've never sold a house.
No.
But you've seen a lot of different listing agents get into this and their kind of journeys. What is your take on it?
I think that systems are just an added cost, but I think if you can leverage them correctly, it's like such an advantage to an agent. And they allow you to focus on the selling and less of like the administrative. They can be like such a support if you use them in the way that they're intended.
Love it. All right, Claire, we'll start with you. What's the difference between an agent who sells 50 homes a year and a business that consistently sells 200, 300, or 400 homes a year?
Yeah, so this one I looked at as like a solo agent is optimizing for themselves, whereas a team is optimizing for like an entire business. So the culture, retention, the systems, the infrastructure, all of that, like there's just so much more to like focus on in order to grow and to scale. Like 200, 300, 400 transactions is a lot of business, and you have to be able to support that for all facets of the business, not just like the transactions and the listings.
Love it. Cheryl, what about your perspective? Solo agent, you've seen Adam scale, you've seen Karen and her team scale.
Yeah, I mean, I would say the volume of the numbers that Young Team pulls in, I don't know how you do it. Like, I don't know how you do it. I think, at Karen, we pull in like 100 a year. I'd say from 80 to 100 a year. We've done that for the last couple of years. But it's in the luxury space. And so that's a lot different than I think, than one tier down. So, I don't know. Solo agent, smaller team, quicker, more nimble, maybe less systematized than your model. Mm-hmm. So able to jump quicker, maybe.
Got it.
So.
Scottie, from an agent's perspective?
From my perspective, it's definitely a mindset thing. So one thing that I always had focused on was, that number at the end of the year, the result. So to me, the difference between someone that is selling 20 homes a year versus someone that's selling 50 plus is, instead of focusing on the result, or loving the result, you fall in love with the process. Because that's, I feel like, when you're really getting in tune with, what you're doing on a day-to-day, and as you continue to do that, it has that snowball effect that the results will speak after. But definitely that.
Cool. Here's another one that I think we'll get some like very different, interesting perspectives on. Scottie, if someone wanted to build a small team, what should they build first? Lead generation, operations, or people?
Yeah, I would say for me, it would be operations. At the end of the day, the lead generation, those things will come organically. They can come organically, and if you don't have a solid system that's in place and operations team, everything else can fall by the wayside.
Claire gave you like $10 to say that.
I was really curious, like how the two of them would answer this. So,
Cheryl, what about for you? First
Okay.
thing, ops, people, lead generation.
So for this one, I did phone a friend.
Okay.
So Karen answered for this one. She said people.
Okay.
Focus on people. If you're at a stage where you're building a team, you should have a solid referral basis. Focus on people, the operations will fall into place, and lead generation's a bonus.
Cool. Claire?
Oh, okay, that like validates what I was thinking. I mean, ultimately, it's definitely a balance and a combo of all three, but I do think it's like you have to have, as a business, it's like some sort of baseline of lead gen and operations, but then ultimately, I think it's people. Once you have the people in place, you can continue to build the other two, but you shouldn't have zero for the other two.
It's so funny. I thought the answer was like, clearly lead generation.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, without lead generation, how do you support anything else? Like, but that's why I'm not sitting up there.
There's different ways to lead gen. So.
True. That's true.
All right, Claire, what is, where did I go here? If an agent is doing 25 to 50 transactions a year today, what systems should they build now before they need them?
So you should like this answer. I said optimizing your database.
Okay.
I think it's, and we've experienced it as a team too. It's really easy to get behind in having a clean database, and your database is future business. So if you don't know their contact information, their address, it's like, are they even a past client of yours? Like, you can't even leverage them for future business. So I think it's something that's like, start it now when you're at 25 transactions, like keep your database clean and go from there.
So,
100%.
Yeah.
Like, I think CRM from day one is so important, and I'd say it's the hardest thing for most newer agents to implement. Probably because if you're attracted to this business, you like having a lot on your plate, you like being in charge of a lot, you're gonna sales, and to sit down and discipline yourself and actually put names into your CRM is just like so tough for me to do. I can't do it.
I think
And
it's one of those.
Karen hires out, so
Yeah,
you know.
it's like it's priority, but then so many other things like push it to a lower priority.
Like you have to
quickly.
do it and get up early and don't do it during work hours because then your whole work day will be gone. And then I think that's, number one.
Scottie, what about from your perspective?
Yeah, I mean, to go further on that too, it's like getting your calendar in place and being very intentional with your time. I've noticed a huge difference from before. I would sit down with Josh and Josh would ask me, how do you think your day went or your week went? Oh, it was great. And then we'd kind of dive in and at the end of the day realize maybe there wasn't a ton of production, that day. It wasn't that productive. So it's like focusing that mind shift on what you're doing, the intention behind it, and being able to stick to that structure is personally something that has really helped.
Love it. Outside of the calendar, Scottie, what are the most important systems behind a listings-based business that most agents never actually build?
For me, a lot of it's like personal stuff. Like I think that your business thrives when you are doing things that you should be doing personally, having good habits, building good routines of what you're doing throughout the day. Also, getting where you need to go to be successful. And what I mean by that is if I'm working at home, I have a ton of distractions. And that can trickle into me going a million different ways. So it's like for me, it's getting into the office and being present with the business.
Love it. Cheryl?
That's a tough one. I would say just on my experience, supporting solo agents, successful solo agents, I would say those agents would flourish with not one system. They would still end up on top because they have this intrinsic drive to close business. And they're always doing it no matter what they're doing. And it's like a face-to-face thing. So the most successful agents that I've seen, and supported, they've got some like magic mojo, seriously. And so
was there any system that you brought to Adam, Karen, that like helped keep it all organized, helped the follow-up, helped stay on top of the clients?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think with Karen, we've developed our systems along the way. A couple of like awesome blockbusters, not telling you what they are. But and it's enabled us to like bam with communication and keep our transactions straight. So definitely we've built that along the way, and it's allowed us to scale and not hire, So yeah.
Claire, your life is systems.
Yeah. I kind of took this one like back to the basics of like when you and Ryan and Eitan were our listing agents, and
Eitan.
Yes, he was here, he snuck out. Of just instilling like a routine pipeline review. And even now, like I'll do it with our coordinators of just like seeing what they're managing. But it's not just like active listings on the market. It's like what appointments that you've gone on but they didn't sign, or properties that are sitting on the market and need a price adjustment. But just like talking about all of your business, I think just you then have a better pulse on what's happening, not just like what's on fire at the moment or like a hot topic. I always thought that was a really beneficial meeting, and I think we've like evolved it over the years in different capacities. But it's a system.
Yeah, so what Claire is talking about when it was Eitan, Ryan, myself as listing partners, every Monday for an hour, the three of us, our listing coordinator, our transaction coordinator, and our marketing / photographer would meet to review every like upcoming listing, on market property and under contract property. And then for an hour on Thursdays, Ryan, Eitan, and myself met to review every like upcoming listing appointment, every appointment that we've went on that was not on the market or that we hadn't signed yet. And it was like 2 full hours a week of like full on get locked in on current properties with all of our coordinators in marketing. And then as listing partners, like we went on opportunities. It's like if it's not on the market with us, we are diagnosing and talking about it every week. Those were different times, but very helpful. It, like Cheryl said, if intrinsically you don't know your business, like you got to find a way to know your business. It's the only way to do it.
Yeah, but I think it's like when you have a team of people too, it's like you might know it, but does everybody else working with you know it? Which is why those meetings were so beneficial.
For sure. All right, Claire, what are the first signs that you've become the bottleneck in your own business, or that an agent, I guess from your perspective and Cheryl's perspective, is becoming the bottleneck in their business?
I think it's when communication starts to break down. It's like for us, we have so many, I shouldn't say so many, we have specific systems that are used for X, Y, and Z and expectations with those, but when communication or like updates or information, whatnot, sits with one person, when you're on a team, nobody else knows what's going on. So it's like if we're not leveraging the systems and the capacity that we need to, it just creates a big bottleneck. It could happen on either end, operations or agent, but that was a pretty clear one for me. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, if it stays with one person.
I think communication, once that breaks down, it takes like one day for everything to pile on. And I asked Karen about this one too, because, so she could say what she does to bottleneck her own business now. She said, if you as the team leader are super busy working on transactions, but your admins are not, you're bottlenecking your business. And yeah, I mean, she's 100% correct. Team leaders probably need, she's always focusing on new business and clients, and we're always focusing on moving the transaction. So, yeah,
Love it.
that's probably true.
Scottie, for you, when are you what's the signs that you're starting to become the bottleneck?
I would say communication, things falling through the cracks, miscommunication with clients or ops definitely is a tall tale.
Cool. All right, Scottie, what are the biggest mistakes agents make when hiring their first assistant, coordinator, operations person? I know you haven't hired anybody yet. You've talked about it a few times with like some leverage. You have a lot of leverage on the team. Anything you've seen from your experience?
Yeah, this is great, actually. Great question, because kind of going through this right now. From talks with Danielle and Josh and the team, one of the big things that I have realized is before you can get leverage in, before any assistant comes in, you need to have a very good grasp on your own business, the roles, the responsibilities, the standard operating procedures, what your calendar looks like. It needs to be structured, and you need to be able to communicate that to someone else. So to be on top of that and know it like the back of your hand, I would say is a big thing before bringing anyone on.
Love it. Cheryl, what do you see? Biggest mistakes when people are making their first hire?
I would say just my experience and our little team, we are in the luxury space, and a difference, I think, one of some is we're very service oriented. So a luxury listing requires a lot. And I would say anybody hired has to be licensed. So they are nimble enough to do anything at any time. And I think probably a lot of agents will hire somebody unlicensed and young, maybe. And I'd say go for somebody who's licensed and somebody with experience.
Love it. Claire?
I think just feeding off what they both said, definitely you've got to know like what you really need support on so that you can train that person on it. You can't just bring someone in and like walk away and think they're going to figure it out, because you'll be right back looking to hire somebody. So, to Scottie's point of like being dialed in on your business and your expectations, and it's like if you can't necessarily train them, it's like on our team, it's like could somebody else step in and train them? But I think we've been in both positions before where you think you hire someone who is experienced, but it's like they don't necessarily know your business and what you need them to do. So just like pouring in literally the time. Everybody's busy. There's so many other priorities and things to do, but ultimately it's like you put the time in, then you'll get the return on it.
Love it. All right, Claire, we're going to start with you on this one and then go to Cheryl and Scottie, because I want Scottie to have an opportunity to listen. Claire, what does great communication between an agent and their support team actually look like?
So obviously it's using the systems, but I kind of sat with this one and I was like, just like get to know your team of like who you're working with. And again, I kind of thought back to like working with Eitan and Josh and even our agents sitting over here, right? It's like the more you know them, you can kind of like flow with them and just like pick up the pieces. It's like, it doesn't have to be so transactional working with people. But ultimately also like use the systems you have. Like don't have these one-off conversations and then, throw it at someone after a team meeting or on the fly and think they're gonna retain it. But yeah, I think it's like, we're all a team. It's like, get to know each other. You'll naturally just like work a lot better than just trying to like follow the process.
Great. Cheryl?
This is coming from Karen too, because in fact it's important. So she says communication is consistent, daily, it's constant, all the time. And this one is so important, and I've been on teams where this was absent. She says everybody has mutual respect for each other, and that's super important, that everyone respects each other. I mean,
I'm going to put you on the spot, though. So that's the agent telling you what great communication looks like. You're the support staff. What would you tell Karen great communication on her end looks like?
On her end?
Yeah,
Well, exactly what she said. So, you know, I think I'm a good, I think running the back office is what I was born to do. I love doing it. And Madeline also has got the, I'm not a 9-to-5er, and this isn't a 9-to-5 business, although some parts of it should be a 9-to-5 business. So it's always kind of on my mind. And so, you know, and it's always on the lead agent's mind, like always. Even if they have boundaries and they have hours of work and not work, they're always thinking of stuff. So, I mean, I would say it's the same for both of us. Like, we have such good communication. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
That's good. All right, Scottie, agent perspective. What does great communication between you and the ops team looks like?
Yeah, I mean, and I appreciate everything you guys said too. Definitely take all that stuff to heart. You know, for me, it's like being able to communicate on the back end of things where whenever you are talking with a client, the client's not hearing the same thing twice. You're in lockstep, you know, every step of the way of the process. Have that mutual respect for one another, and just clear understanding of where you're at in the process.
I'll also add that, like, close the circle of communication. Like, I talk about that with our coordinators a lot. Just, it's like, people shouldn't be wondering if you've gotten their email or whatnot. It's like, if you're wondering, someone else is probably wondering too.
Love it.
Close the circle.
That's good advice. Yeah, close the circle.
All right, Scottie, we'll start with you. Probably different perspectives here as well. Walk us through what happens after a listing agreement is signed. What parts should be systematized versus what parts do you think should be personalized?
Yeah, so after a listing agreement is signed, immediately setting the next step expectations with the client and following through on that. And then, you know, if you're someone that's constantly on the go, after the appointment, make sure that you are brain dumping everything you can from price that you guys talked about, any little, you know, details that you can remember so that you can go back to. I think that that's important because you can easily forget that stuff. As far as systematized, I would just say like the method and the process of, you know, the steps in the transaction. Something that's, you know, should be personalized. First off, when you're in that listing appointment, always find something that is special about that person. And that way you're able to hang on to it, or if it's something that you can maybe revert back to when it comes to closing gifts and whatnot, having that special touch. And then also, you know, the educating, advising, making sure that you're leaving an impression every time you're able to talk with the client. I think that's important to keep between, you know, you and not just kind of leave it go for ops and systematize it.
Do you share the special thing about them with the operations team?
I do in notes if I have it.
Love it.
Yeah.
Cheryl, what about from your perspective?
I mean, I would say securing the listing is the most important thing. Getting it signed is like number one. Doing the brain dump is super important too. So you need to have a vehicle to put all of your, I'm speaking for Karen now, to put all of your nuances when you meet the client and get the listing signed. You have to have somewhere to put that so it can be in writing, and then we can go and look at it whenever we can and get a good idea of what's going on. And after the listing's signed, everything else can be systematized, basically, except until the offer comes in, you know.
Okay.
And then, but the lead agent is always a presence. The lead agent always makes the client feel that they're there, they're a presence, they're a CEO, they're the bottom line, but they're not necessarily in the business of moving the transaction. We do that.
Claire?
Yeah, I think Cheryl said it pretty well. It's like, for our team, it's always been a systematized handoff from agents to our operations team. And, over the years, different iterations of like automation introduced, but ultimately it's like what should still be, would you say personalized, is like the agent's involvement, and whether that's like setting expectations of like, this is what's gonna happen once we turn in a signed listing, I'll still be here for this, like, so that it's not, so that like automation doesn't necessarily feel cold. It's there to support things and support the system, but the agent does still need to be there for
And
that
a lot of it comes
personalization.
from the agent introducing that system at the list appointment, like right away. So you're
What does that look like?
So you're not only selling yourself and your brokerage, but you're selling your team, because your team is the best in the business, and your team is dedicated to taking excellent care of the client. And so when you intro that right away and you don't leave it, and it's no surprise, I think that makes for the strongest transition.
Love it. All right, Claire, what tasks should a listing agent never delegate, regardless of how large the business becomes?
I mean, I kind of just said it, but I think it's just like that human interaction. It's like, we all are familiar with AI, leveraging it, whether it's in our business or our personal life, and it's great for some things, but I think there's also like so much of it that people appreciate that personalized outreach and, their agent taking time to reach out to them, whether it's when you're on the market or you're under contract or you just closed or you've got an event coming up. It's like, I think in this industry it can go a long way, because it's like everybody knows a real estate agent. Like, if you don't, keep that human connection, it's like they could move on to somebody else the next time they're ready to transact. So I think that should always remain.
Cheryl, what do you think from a task a listing agent should never delegate?
I mean, I would say the only task that a list agent should not delegate is negotiating the offer.
Yeah.
Everything else can be delegated, and you can negotiate the offer from Italy or from wherever you are, because from Italy. Other than that, I've done every other task, and I love doing it, and we're front-facing, so we're with the client, and it's really important to delegate after you get a certain amount of business going.
Love it. All right, Scottie, do you agree, disagree? Have you changed your opinion over the last 2 or 3 years?
I mean, for me, I'm definitely a person that's always looking inward, right? So we're all human, we make mistakes. Anything that has to do with self-accountability and integrity and interaction, like, you don't leave that stuff up to ops to take care of. Like, if there's something that that maybe you did or the right thing to do, take accountability for it, pick up the phone call, and have a real conversation. I'd say that's pretty big.
Cool. Scottie, what's something you thought needed your personal involvement that actually didn't?
I mean, as a solo agent, when I started off, I would say like everything. Being on
when you were a solo agent, who else was going to do it?
Right. Being on a team, definitely understand that there's so much that we have support with throughout the whole process. That would be kind of what I'm at. And social media, I would say that's probably something that I felt needed like personal involvement, but it really doesn't.
Okay. Cheryl, what do you see? Things that your agents thought they needed to be personally involved in and eventually realized they did not?
It's funny because the solo agent, like Scott, before he came back, that is their mindset, because that's how important their clients are to them. So their clients are so important to them to find somebody else that's trustworthy enough to handle interaction, tasks, problems, the way that they would handle problems, to treat the client the way that they would. It's super hard for them to find somebody like that, even if there is somebody like that, because they're so, it's just the most important thing in their business is your client. So I think probably, 90% of the time, I would say 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 realizing that there are trustworthy back office people out there, and maybe that you have hired, that love your business as much as you do and appreciate your clients as much as you do. You know, realizing that and being able to delegate even further, I think is, you know, probably.
Love that.
Okay, good.
Claire?
I don't have anything to add to this one.
I'll add something, having gone through it onto Cheryl's. I think that the reality is, it is great to say as a solo agent, you are looking for someone that cares about your clients as much as you do. That is a piece of it, but eventually you will come to the realization, if you truly want to scale your business, is that there are a lot of other people out there who are significantly better to handle parts of the business than you ever were.
Oh,
And it's like,
yeah.
you might care more than an operations person about the client, but they will do a by far better job of staying organized, of processing the deals, of helping great communication, and they will still care about your clients. Yeah, it's not a measurement on like if they care as much, more, or less, but like marketing, you know, that's I think one thing that people always like, when it comes to coordination, people are like, I can handle it. But how many people would say like, well, I'm gonna take all the photos myself because I care more than our photographer does. It's
People do. Like, well, you
their
know, when they're
photos are
starting
terrible.
out, you think you can do everything. Like, I can do the social media. I mean, no.
But you will realize that there are people that are like just significantly better at parts of the transaction that allows you to then focus on things that you're great at, and vice versa.
That's so true.
All right, Scottie, where did I leave off? We'll start with you again. I think I did that backwards. But where do you see agents creating unnecessary complexity in their business? AKA, where do you or have you created unnecessary complexity in your business?
I would say not setting proper expectations and following up on those expectations. Another thing is not picking up the phone and having personal human interaction with the agents. I can't tell you how many times we get offers submitted. We don't even know that someone sent it in. They're expecting that, you know, we see it and all this. It's like, you should have multiple conversations with somebody and build that rapport, if you don't have that already, to be able to then make it a smoother transition and know that that person can trust you on the other end. I think that's a huge thing that a lot of people rely on technology or automation or AI or whatever. Like, that human touch is something that's unreplaceable.
Love it. Cheryl, where have you
So-
seen your agents add unnecessary complexity?
I think, and I'll say like the past 10 years, I've probably been involved in, you know, 900 transactions, 1,000. Agents who go outside their lane, agents who forget what their role is as an agent and as basically a conveyor of information. So agents who take on the role of guard dog, or agents who become problematic and difficult to work with, who get in the way of the transaction flowing through to transfer. I think that's, and there's so many. I mean, I think that we're competitors, but we're also collaborators, and that's a tough line to traverse. But that's where I think agents can get in the way, like big time, you know. And keep, like, how many times have you seen a transaction fail and it had nothing to do with the buyer and the seller, and it was on the agent, you know?
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, the collaborator part. I mean, that's why we wanted to start doing these mastermind panels, is like bring everybody together, hear multiple different sides of things. It's like, how many deals has the Young Team and Karen or Young Team and Adam done over the years? It's like definitely more collaborators than anything.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Claire,
So important.
where do you see the agents adding unnecessary complexity?
Yeah, I mean, I think just on that collaborative note, it's like when you lack that, maybe because there's like a lack of trust, or you're not staying kind of within the roles and responsibilities that are defined, it just creates more complexity than needs to be. But also I think like, to Scottie's point of like setting expectations, it's like you set the expectations to follow through with them, not to like find loopholes to them. And, you know, for example, it's like we don't put properties on the market on the weekend. And it's like if an agent told a client because they really wanted it listed on a Saturday that we could do that, it's like, no, we don't do that. So now we've just like, we've bent our entire system to accommodate a expectation that was set just to make the client happy. But it's like, our system allows clients to still be happy even when we're not listing properties on a Saturday. So I think stuff like that just makes it more complex than.
That's so true, because there's always a way to explain your process to the client in like the best 100% positive light, no matter what it is. You know?
Yeah, you're like making
there's a
your
reason
job
that
harder.
you don't do it on the weekend, and
Yeah.
it's a really good one. Yeah, whatever it is.
Can I add something into there too that I forgot to mention? Something that I think makes things for a complex experience the whole way through is when agents focus more on the instant gratification or like getting the agreement signed versus shifting that mindset to always be thinking about the closing table. I think that's a huge miss as well, an opportunity.
Love it. All right, Claire. What metrics should every listing-based business track weekly?
I feel like this is like a pass-fail answer. I mean, I said, you know, appointments set, met, signed. I mean, for our business though, like operationally and just how, like our expectations for our agents and our clients, it's like we have certain metrics too that we're measuring based on like how we want the client experience to be. And so that could be, you know, unique to each person's business. But I think generally speaking, those first ones I said are important to know the health of your business.
Cheryl, in a more boutique business, what are you guys tracking on the listing side?
Weekly,
Yeah.
you mean? I think weekly we are tracking our transactions, all of us. So we have great communication. We know, I mean, we have a weekly meeting every week just to discuss where we're at. And it's transaction based. And then as far as metrics, once a quarter, we'll run, you know, rankings, we'll run numbers, we'll see where we are. I don't think tracking metrics will bring you more business, honestly. But, you know, if you're competitive and you care and you want to know what everyone else is doing, you'll start tracking things for sure.
Love it. All right, Scottie, agent's perspective.
Yeah, I would say, and we have a weekly meeting, our listing partner meeting as well. We're tracking our appointments that were set, that have been met, any agreements that have been signed, under contract, closed. I mean, there's a lot of different metrics that I think is important to keep an eye on. More so because when you're present in those numbers, it just helps you stay focused on your goals, keeps you aligned.
Love it. I'll throw in for Scottie, it's like if you had to simplify it on the listing agent side, Mets signed, listings taken, and that percentage. It's like if you're trying to drive it on an agent side, it's like you hit your Mets every month or every week, you hit your signed every week, the rest of it will take care of itself. All right, Scottie, what's more dangerous to growth? Poor lead generation or poor operations?
For me, I would say, again, like the importance of operations. It's like the old story of building a house on sand versus a house on stone. You want to make sure that all of the systems that are in place are functioning the way that they should, because everything else can crumble if you don't have that.
Cheryl, poor lead gen, poor ops.
Poor operations, 100%. She agrees. Karen agrees. Poor operations. If you don't have smooth transactions, you won't receive referrals from past clients, and that is number one. Karen's number one lead gen is referrals from past clients. So operations.
Makes a ton of sense,
Oh,
Claire.
we know what yours.
Yeah, I echo them. But from a business standpoint too, like it's so much more than just like our coordinators on our operations team, right? Too, like it's marketing, it's pointing to your database, it's referral business. It's like if you don't have any of that, it's like the lead gen doesn't really matter.
Cool. All right.
Do you think it's lead gen?
I think on this end, it's operations for sure. Because lead gen, it's like I talked about earlier, it's like it funds the ability to do everything else, but lead gen really only affects you. It's like detrimental would be if ops isn't cutting it. It's like that affects everybody, the clients. The clients don't really see the lead gen. So I fully agree. All right, Claire, if our business doubled in volume tomorrow, mostly because Jen sells one $300 million house, what would be the first thing to break?
Okay, this would be a pretty big problem if our business doubled tomorrow. Like,
Great problem.
It'd be a great problem, but like operationally, it'd be a pretty tough problem. But just like our capacity, I mean, right now we focus on bringing 10 listings to the market each week. It's like if we doubled that overnight consistently, it's like our operations team, our photographer, they would just be inundated. And it's like you can have these systems, but if they're not built to scale to the volume, then you're done.
Cheryl?
For sure.
If
What she said.
Karen doubled
Yeah.
tomorrow,
So if we doubled it tomorrow,
what would be the first thing to break?
I mean, the first thing to break would be, probably if we doubled our listing volume tomorrow, the first thing to break would be everything we do after the listing is signed, only because, we've already scaled, we've already doubled with our little team. And so we're in a good spot right now. We could handle some more volume for sure. But I don't think Karen would really even, or Kelsey would want to. I think, I can't even imagine it, so.
I know, I was like, everything.
That would be awful.
All right,
It makes me
Scottie,
sweat.
your perspective on your business, if you doubled, what's the first thing that breaks on your end?
If my business volume doubled, I would probably break open a bottle of bourbon for myself and for my ops team to get ready for the wild ride that we're about to have. But I'd be
Oh,
Oh,
excited.
you probably don't need the bourbon for that wild ride.
Scottie is such an optimist. Just get everybody drunk, it'll be fine.
It'll work out.
All right, Scottie, what is one system that you've implemented that had a disproportionate impact on growth or quality of life?
For me, implementing the pre-listing phone call. That's been a huge game changer. There have been countless times that had I not made that call, it would have made for a completely different outcome. And so I would say that has been huge.
Love it. Cheryl?
Let's see. I think in our little group, I would say something that we've implemented lately that's had a disproportionate effect might be our group text with the client. So we have a group text. Karen is on every group text, and it involves our clients as well. So right from the get-go, they have their support team right there, because who's not texting? Like everybody. We give them the option, but it's like 99% opt-in. And it's such a great tool to keep to keep the client abreast of everything that's happening. They feel free to text questions. It's immediate answer because we have both of us on it and Karen as well. And it's been a game changer for sure. Like I love it and our clients love it.
100% agree.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Claire?
Awesome, we just started doing that too.
You did?
Yeah.
Dang.
Well, Claire just said, for those of you that can't hear, she said we just started doing that too.
I mean, it's like mine did though. It's good.
Yeah.
It's good. I came up with a few things, but I guess I'll go with I think moving to Winston, our AI answering service. Obviously, there's still some kinks to work out with that, but previously it's like all calls were routed to our office line, which is our 3 coordinators, some going to ISAs beforehand, but they would just be having to like figure out who does this person need to talk to, and just like not a good use of their time. We would miss calls would go like unresponded to, and no fault to them, it was just like a poor system. So I think that that's been just a game changer of like every call's answered now
By Winston.
by Winston.
Wow.
Yeah.
So when people call, do they know that Winston is AI?
Depends
They're
on
No,
the
but
person.
they might ask, and he'll say, I'm a
So they-
digital assistant.
Oh, okay.
My mom
Good.
talks to them all the time.
Yeah.
Some people know immediately, most people don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that it's like some people are going to get frustrated by it, some people are fine with it, but it's also like we're not the only company to be using a digital
For sure.
answering service, so it's
For
not
sure.
like we're introducing something
That's
to
right.
the world.
It's also, you gotta like compare it to the alternative of like, they might be frustrated talking to AI at the moment. They're more frustrated if nobody picks up or gets back to them promptly.
yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Gosh, yeah.
All right, Claire, one last question, then we'll open it up to the group.
Oh yeah.
What's one thing every person in this room should implement in the next 30 days?
So I think everybody should implement a pipeline review. I really tried to like take this question and be like, what's something that some people could actually walk away and do? And I think it's very like attainable to do that with your business if you're not already. I mean, we talked about it earlier in the panel in a few different ways, but it's like know your business, not just what's on market, not just what's under contract, but it's like know who your business is, who you need to follow up with, and your business could literally grow just from like knowing what's happening and like having a pulse on it consistently. And I mean, Josh said earlier, it's like 2 hours out of the week for however large your business was, it's like, I can't imagine that it's gonna be more than 2 hours a week for anybody here. So I think that
Love that
you
idea.
can do it.
Cheryl?
I agree with the pipeline review, I think. Yeah, to sit down and know where your business is going to come from, and it's going to come, well, how many people are solo agents? Like most, or not, well, like a third. I think knowing where your business is going to come from is so important, because if you're not going to get listings signed, or you're not going to have a BBA signed with your then you don't have business. So there's nothing more important than transactions. Nothing. Like not marketing, not social media, not building out your team, not figuring out when you're gonna, no, it's just like getting the business. And so getting that transaction under your belt, you just want to have so many you don't know what to do. And then you hire an assistant.
And then the business doubles, and then everything
There
breaks.
you go. It
apparently.
all right.
Incredible. Scottie, one thing everybody should implement in the next 30 days.
All right, so one thing would be to implement pre-listing phone calls. I think you'll definitely see it's a game changer. If you have not done it before, get a team member, give me a call, give whomever you need to a call, and role play it. I am going to throw one other thing in there too. Really just start listening and finding something in each conversation and everyone that you interact with that is special that you can hold on to. I always go back to a story of one of our team members, Elijah, and what I think everyone needs to start doing is they need to focus on building, like, how can I make this a long-term relationship? Elijah had clients where they had purchased a house. It was a little bit off of, I believe, a main road where they were used to living in a neighborhood. And they had made a comment about, the fact that they used to love that there was a lot of kids around and like the ice cream truck would come by. And for a closing gift, he knew that that was something that they were missing. And so he had a ice cream truck show up and be there. And like, if that doesn't create a long-term forever fan, I don't know what does. So like, be in tune with that stuff.
Amazing. All right, we'd love to open up to the group if you guys have questions. Go
Scottie,
ahead,
you
please.
mentioned your pre-listing conversation. What does that
Oh, yeah,
conversation
I
look
wanna know
like,
that
and
too.
What is it entail?
Yeah, I mean, so basically, you're going to call them and you're going to essentially let them know that, you know, you are preparing, you know, you're going to be as prepared as possible when you do meet. Their time is valuable. You want to be as efficient as possible. So if there's anything that, and we do have a pre-listing phone call form, I can, you know.
Yeah, if you
put
guys
a
want,
couple-
email me and I'll share it with you.
Thank you.
I didn't
for-
want to
for
commit
any of
that,
you.
so I let Josh do that. But yeah, we'll share that with you. But it's basically just really digging into some things that can help out if they're meeting with other agents. If they already have like an expectation of what their home is worth, there's a lot of different things that you can uncover, and people love to talk, and they're able to paint you that picture and story before you even go there. So when you go there, it's like you're just picking up from that conversation with a
Yeah.
friend.
The idea is basically to be as prepared as possible with the correct information, and not just correct information about like their particular house, but them, so that you can then tailor the appointment to that house and that client.
So that appointment has already been set.
Yes.
It's either like for us, it's like we have an inside sales team.
Uh-huh.
So if they set the appointment, then Scottie's calling post. Or if you were setting it for yourself, you would just roll right into this conversation when you're setting the appointment.
Gotcha.
What other questions we got? Jennifer?
Oh,
Oh,
go ahead.
Yeah.
go ahead.
He's either for Clare or Cheryl. So I like what you said earlier regarding getting to know your people, you know, not just making it transactional. But the problem we've encountered is that you also made another comment trying to list a property on the weekend. And we just don't do that. So my question is, what happens when you have that agent, that teammate that doesn't want to follow procedures, i.e. listing a property on the weekend? So do you try to adapt to their way in order to help them be successful, or do you, I don't want to use the word force, but that's the only word I can think of right now, force them to adapt to the operations that has been, you know, successful
Yeah.
with that? Because we're finding ourselves being chameleon-like and just adapting just to help them get through it, but it's actually hurting us,
Right.
you know, long-term, because we're investing more time and energy and effort to get something done, whereas if we had them just be a stickler, do what we tell you to do,
Yeah.
this would be easier. So how do you all both, I guess, deal with that when you do encounter
Yeah.
that?
I can go. I'll start.
I think you don't have room to accommodate
Yeah, so
dissenters. Right?
yeah, I think it's like both expectations, and you have to like show them why it's valuable too, like why you are structured the way you are, right? But like for us, everything's run under Terry's name, so our agents don't do the MLS input. Our operations team does that. So
Okay, all right.
you know, if Jen wanted to list on Saturday, she can't just like go in and activate it like she would. She can't.
Okay.
I mean, I guess you could make your own listing, but wow, that would be a lot of extra work. It's just not how our business operates. But I think like if it sounds like, you know, you guys probably do like your own MLS input, maybe between yourself and other agents, and so I think without knowing like additional details of it, it's hard to give like a specific
Let's say
answer.
if it's
But
not something so structured like MLS input,
yeah,
they can't do it, so it's
Oh.
really
negotiable.
it's a non-negotiable, but
Yeah.
something that is, and I can't even pull a situation.
I would say one thing to add from my end, it's like you gotta help educate them as to why these are our processes and why it is not detrimental to them or their client that going to the market on a Saturday does not affect them. And I'll give you an example. We had a new agent join our team about 4 or 5 years ago, and our process is you turn in a listing, the listing coordinator reaches out next business day to introduce themselves. We schedule our photographer. Once photography happens, it takes 2 business days to get the photographs back, the MLS write-up, have everything approved and go to the market. Now, there are people that we all know, if they do it themselves, they'll go to the market the same day. They'll go to the market, you know, if the client wants it from the listing appointment, they'll take photos with their cell phone, it'll be on that afternoon. And this new agent didn't fully know the process yet. She had her most expensive listing in her pipeline ever. And it was a Thursday, and she said that she had committed to the client that we were going to go to the market on Friday. We didn't even have photos scheduled yet. And I told her, I'm like, I'll leave her name out of it for now. It's like, that's not how this works. That's not possible. And she started freaking out. And I said, before you freak out, I texted our photographer. We could do photos on Friday, which means we could go to the market on Tuesday. I said, did you tell your client why Tuesday is the best day to go to the market for her listing? And she goes, no, what do you mean? Like, why is Tuesday the best day to go to the market? And I proceeded to give her ample reasons, which I think Cheryl talked about earlier, like setting that expectation of why Tuesday is the best day to go to the market. And she called her client, explained everything, and the client was super happy. And then after she got off the phone with the client, I said, all right, let me tell you why Wednesday is the best day to go to the market. And it's like, any of that, there are things throughout our life. If you want to go get, deposit something at the bank, if you're not going to use the ATM machine, you don't have the ability to go there at 3 o'clock in the morning and demand the bank opens for you. If you want to go see a non-ER doctor, you don't schedule an appointment Saturday at 10 a.m. That's not when they work. Our business is the same way. We control, as long as we can deliver the results, there's a better way to do it. But I think you have to educate them as to like why the best, having the systems in place actually deliver the best results. We were just talking about this before. Too many people are so interested in rushing to the market because their client wants to sell quickly. The client doesn't want to be on the market quickly. They think they do. They want to close quickly. And it is like, if we slow down to have our team or your team get the house ready, do the right photos, make sure things are accurate, we're actually speeding up the end results. But most people are always thinking about the first step.
Okay, I appreciate it.
Anything, Cheryl, you want to add?
And it's not a bad thing to think of that first step, because it's intuitive if you love sales to want to get it done and want to get it on, because the quicker you get it on, the quicker you get an offer, the quicker. Like, that's how, I think that's how salespeople think a lot of the time. But I mean, Karen is very good at this. I mean, we're not performing open heart surgery. It's not an ER. We're not ER docs. And if you can just think for a second and slow yourself down, you'll realize that explaining your process in a positive light, I mean, it gives you a life, number one. Karen would say that. But it's kind of true. I mean, it's, when's the best time to list a house? Tomorrow, right? Like, no matter what. It's always, or how about now? Like, now is the best time. You don't want to wait until next spring. You want to do it now. And then there's always a good reason to do it now, even if it's December 5th. There's a good reason to get that on the market, because there really is most of the time. But you control that narrative. You really do.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right, well, Jen, you had a question.
Yeah, Cheryl, it seems like you're very client facing. What does an average week look like for you in terms of how you interact with clients?
An average week would be all of our transactions and where they're at. So Madeline's also front facing, so we both are front facing. And if we take a listing, Maddie will be reviewing the house to set it up for staging notes. And she will be starting her interaction with the client right then. She also does the photography and the judging before photography. And then I do the same thing. We're kind of and then I will be accompanying the inspections. So they know that I do the removal of inspection contingency. And honestly, I love doing it. And a lot of agents hate doing it. But to me, I like it. And so I think that there's something to be said for somebody who just concentrates on the inspection and the removal. So I might be doing a couple of those, depending. And then, I'll be accompanying a couple of showings, because we have listings that require accompanied showings. So that's prepping the house and whether the seller is there or not. We do an awful lot of boots on the ground. So, yeah.
Love it. For the rest of you guys, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
I thought it was incredible. Give a round of applause for them, please.
Thank you.